Hi, my name is Olivia Hardy, and I did my second book review on the autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr. The book actually wasn't written by Martin Luther King Jr. It was written by Claiborne Carson. He went and got all of Dr. King's journals and then made the book based off those. So everything that was in the autobiography was Martin Luther King's words and thoughts, but Claiborne Carson just organized them all and made the book out of that. I really enjoyed this book because it was first-hand accounts of what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. went through during this time. It started from his birth and went all the way up to his death, and the book told us that even though that Martin Luther King was born in a time where African Americans were treated horribly and did not have the same rights as others, that he had a very good family and that they made the most of it. That his family worked very hard to provide the schooling and the life that he got. So the book starts from when he was born, tells us where and about his family and where he went to school, and then it talks about different things that he did during the civil rights movement as well. And as we know, he did many things that contributed to that, and he is still very well known today for those things that he did during that time. I can just relate to a book when it is firsthand like that, because I feel like I'm just in the story and in the moment with the person. So that just kept me engaged and interested as I was reading. I think that this would be an awesome book for you to read to your students as a read aloud, because we know that those are very beneficial, and it doesn't matter how old your students are. I know in the Alabama course of study, 4th grade is the grade where they do a lot on the civil rights movement and even the Civil War. And so this would be a great book to read, even if you were studying about the Civil War, to talk about this many years later, they were still having to struggle with these same things that they were years before. So that would be a great end of the day activity for all your students to sit down and pull out this book and read a couple chapters and model that fluent reading for them. The lesson plan that I done on this book was for 4th grade, and it was called How Do You Want to Be Treated? And so in this lesson, students will be placed in groups, and they will research using a Chromebook different things that happened during the civil rights movement and even back to the Civil War if they want to, and relate that to life today. They can talk about how the people were treated and if people are still treated that way. And then I want them to put themselves in those shoes and talk about, well, if they were born during the times of Martin Luther King Jr. or during the times of the Civil War, how would they handle this and what would they do to help speak up for the rights of African Americans? And so they're going to gather their ideas as a group, and then I'm going to give them an option of either presenting it on a poster board or presenting it as a slideshow. So they will make that as a group, and then they will present it to the whole class, to the other groups. And then when we finish presenting our project to everyone, then we are going to pull out our journals and write one thing that you learned from the other groups about Martin Luther King Jr. or about the civil rights movement or the Civil War. So they kind of have some freedom. They get to choose poster board or slideshow, and then they're going to present it as a group. So like I said, this was a very awesome group for those older students to help reinforce those ideas that you're already learning in the class. I have read this whole book from cover to cover, and I purchased a audiobook because it's a lot cheaper than buying the real thing. Thank you.